Control is an illusion in the external world. No matter how much we wish for events to unfold as we desire, the truth remains the same. Most of what happens is beyond our command. People will behave in ways we do not approve of. Circumstances will shift unexpectedly. Misfortune will arrive without warning. The weather will not always be favorable. Plans will fall apart, and those we trust may disappoint us. But amid all this unpredictability, there is one thing over which we have complete authority: ourselves. Your thoughts, your choices, your reactions. These are yours to govern. The moment you recognize this truth, you begin to free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Much of human frustration and distress stem from resisting reality. We demand that life be fair, that people treat us with kindness, that events unfold smoothly, and yet the world does not conform to our wishes. No amount of anger or sorrow will change an unfortunate event. No amount of wishing will undo a past mistake. No amount of resistance will prevent others from acting as they choose. This is where many fall into a cycle of suffering, by allowing external circumstances to dictate their internal state. They feel peace when life aligns with their desires and distress when it does not. But in doing so, they surrender control over their well-being to forces outside of themselves. A person insults you. Do you become consumed with anger? A plan you worked on for months collapses. Do you fall into despair? Someone you trust betrays you. Do you allow that betrayal to define your sense of self-worth? Each of these situations holds the potential to cause distress, but only if you give them permission to do so. You cannot control what happens, but you can always control how you respond, and in that response lies the key to freedom. Imagine the ocean. The surface may be violent, waves crashing, winds howling, tides shifting unpredictably. But deep beneath the surface, the water remains still, calm, undisturbed, unaffected by the storm above. Your mind must be like that deep water. If you allow yourself to react to every external disturbance, you will be like a leaf caught in the wind, tossed about by forces beyond your control. But if you train yourself to look inward, to focus only on what is within your power, you become immovable. No insult, no setback, no misfortune will have the ability to shake you. You will remain steady no matter how turbulent the world becomes. This is not weakness or passivity, it is strength. It takes immense discipline to remain unshaken when life does not go your way. It is easy to give in to anger, frustration, or sadness, but a well-trained mind does not waste energy fighting what cannot be changed. It sees reality for what it is and adapts. Instead of dwelling on how things should have been, it asks, "What can I do with this?" Instead of feeling defeated by hardship, it seeks a way forward. There will be times when the world seems unfair, when you are tested, when everything appears to be against you. But if you master yourself, if you learn to focus only on what is within your control, then no hardship can break you. You will walk through life with unwavering strength, unaffected by the chaos that consumes others. The world will remain unpredictable, but you within yourself will be free. Emotions are powerful forces, capable of shaping the way we see the world. They can inspire us to take action, push us towards success, or help us connect with others. But they can also be destructive. Fear can paralyze us, anger can cloud our judgment, sadness can drain our will to move forward. When left unchecked, emotions can take control, dictating our actions, clouding our reason, and leading us down paths we later regret. But emotions, no matter how intense, are not absolute truths. They are passing states, reactions to circumstances, and they do not have to rule us. A disciplined mind acknowledges them, but does not become enslaved by them. When anger rises, it feels justified. Someone has wronged us, something has not gone as planned, or an obstacle has appeared in our way. The natural reaction is to lash out, to let frustration take over, to demand justice. But anger rarely improves a situation. It clouds the mind, narrows our vision, and makes us impulsive. A single moment of uncontrolled anger can lead to decisions that cause lasting regret. And yet, when we pause, When we take a step back and observe the anger rather than act upon it, we realize that it holds no real power over us. We are not our anger, we are the ones experiencing it. And if we are experiencing it, that means we can control it. Fear operates in much the same way. It whispers warnings of failure, rejection, and loss, convincing us that it is safer not to try at all. It magnifies the risks, making them seem larger than they are, trapping us in hesitation. But fear is rarely rooted in reality. It is a projection of what might happen, a creation of the mind rather than a certainty. If we allow it to control us, it will limit our lives, keeping us from opportunities, from growth, from the very experiences that shape us into stronger individuals. But just like anger, fear can be mastered. The key is not to deny its presence, but to confront it, to acknowledge it without obeying it. Sadness too has its grip on the mind, especially when we dwell on the past, on things we have lost, on mistakes we have made, on moments that cannot be changed. It tricks us into believing that things will never improve, that the weight we feel now will last forever. But sadness, like all emotions, is temporary. It passes like a storm, and when it does, the sky is clear once more. The mistake many make is in identifying too strongly with their sadness, believing it to be permanent, rather than seeing it as something fleeting, something separate from themselves. To master emotions does not mean to suppress them. It does not mean to pretend they do not exist or to become cold and unfeeling. It means to recognize them for what they are, temporary states, not absolute truths. It means to feel them, but not be controlled by them. When anger arises, acknowledge it, but do not act on it blindly. When fear appears, see it, but do not let it dictate your actions. When sadness comes, experience it, but know that it does not define you. A strong mind observes emotions like a river flowing by, aware of their presence but not carried away by them. Those who are ruled by their emotions are like ships tossed about by waves, directionless, unable to control where they go. But those who train their minds to master their emotions become like captains of their own fate, steady, calm, in control. No storm can sink them, no current can drag them off course. They remain firm no matter what they face. Obstacles are often seen as barriers, as forces that block our path and prevent us from reaching what we desire. When faced with difficulty, most people instinctively resist, complain, or feel defeated. They see hardship as an unfair burden, a cruel twist of fate that should not have come their way. But this perspective is flawed. The truth is that obstacles are not meant to stop us. They are meant to shape us. They are not barriers, they are opportunities in disguise. The mind that understands this does not resent hardship, but embraces it, knowing that within every difficulty lies a lesson, a challenge, and a chance to grow stronger. When something goes wrong, when failure arrives, when a goal seems out of reach, the untrained mind sees only misfortune, but the trained mind sees a test. It asks, "What can this teach me? How can I use this?" Instead of being consumed by frustration, it searches for the hidden benefit, the way forward. A person who has never faced resistance remains weak, but the one who struggles, who endures hardship, who finds a way through, this is the person who becomes unbreakable. Just as fire tempers steel, difficulty strengthens the mind. Consider the nature of physical training. Muscles do not grow without resistance. Strength does not come from ease, but from challenge. The same is true for the mind. Comfort does not create resilience, adversity does. A person who never faces setbacks will never develop the mental toughness needed to withstand life's uncertainties. Those who avoid hardship, who give up at the first sign of struggle, remain fragile, unable to withstand even the smallest storms. But those who welcome challenges, who see them as training, become capable of enduring anything. Failure, too, is misunderstood. Most see it as the end, as proof of inadequacy. But failure is not the opposite of success, it is a step toward it. Every mistake carries a lesson. Every setback provides information. The only true failure is refusing to learn, refusing to continue. The greatest achievements in history were built on foundations of failure, on individuals who did not see obstacles as reasons to quit, but as tools for refinement. They adjusted, improved, and persisted, turning their failures into stepping stones. Hardships, setbacks, disappointments. These are unavoidable. No one moves through life without encountering them. The difference between those who grow and those who remain stuck is how they respond. A weak mind sees difficulty as an excuse to stop. A strong mind sees it as an invitation to rise. The greatest power we have is the ability to choose our perspective. Choose to see obstacles not as threats, but as opportunities. Choose to see difficulty not as suffering, but as training. The mind that does this will never be defeated, no matter how great the challenge. Desire and expectation are the sources of much human suffering. People move through life clinging to the hope that things will unfold exactly as they wish, that others will behave as they prefer, and that circumstances will align with their vision of how the world should be. When reality does not conform to these expectations, frustration arises. Disappointment sets in. A person who depends on external outcomes for happiness will always be at the mercy of forces beyond their control. But the one who learns to detach from desires and expectations finds peace, because they understand a simple truth: the world does not exist to serve personal wishes. Most suffering is not caused by actual events, but by the mind's resistance to them. It is not the delay that causes frustration, but the expectation of timeliness. It is not the loss that causes grief, but the expectation that something should have lasted longer. It is not failure that causes despair, but the belief that success should have come easily. When a person frees themselves from rigid expectations, they free themselves from unnecessary pain. They move through life with acceptance, adjusting to reality instead of resisting it. This does not mean abandoning goals or ambition. It does not mean living without preference or direction. Rather, it means understanding that while effort is within one's control, outcomes are not. A person can work hard, but success is never guaranteed. They can treat others with kindness, but they cannot demand kindness in return. They can plan for the future, but they cannot dictate how it will unfold. The wise do their part and let go of the rest. They do not waste energy lamenting what they cannot change. Many believe that happiness comes from getting what they want, but this is an illusion. The satisfaction of fulfilled desire is fleeting, always replaced by new wants. A person achieves a goal, only to set another. They acquire something they longed for, only to desire something more. This cycle is endless, keeping them in a state of constant dissatisfaction. But the one who learns to appreciate what is, rather than obsess over what could be, finds a deeper, more lasting peace. Gratitude replaces longing. Contentment replaces restlessness. To live without expectation is to move freely through the world unburdened by disappointment. When things go well, they are appreciated. When they do not, they are accepted. Nothing is taken for granted, and nothing is seen as owed. The mind that releases its grip on desire does not become empty, it becomes free. It is no longer weighed down by frustration, no longer tormented by what it lacks. It sees life as it is, not as it wishes it to be. And in that clarity, it finds true strength. The past is unchangeable, no matter how much one dwells on it. The future is uncertain, no matter how much one worries about it. Yet, most people live trapped between these two illusions, regretting what has already happened or fearing what is yet to come. In doing so, they waste the only thing that truly belongs to them, the present moment. The past cannot be rewritten, and the future cannot be controlled. But the present is where action happens, where choices are made, where life is truly lived. A mind that learns to stay grounded in the present is a mind that is free from the weight of regret and the burden of anxiety. Regret is the chain that ties a person to what no longer exists. It whispers that things should have been different, that mistakes should not have been made, that opportunities should not have been missed. But no amount of wishing can undo the past. No amount of guilt can change what has already happened. Regret is only useful if it serves as a lesson, if it teaches a person to act differently moving forward. Beyond that, it is nothing but self-inflicted suffering. The wise understand this and do not dwell on past errors. They acknowledge them, learn from them, and move on. They refuse to let yesterday steal today. Anxiety, on the other hand, is the fear of what has not yet come. It convinces the mind to prepare for every possible disaster, to obsess over every uncertain outcome, to seek control over the uncontrollable. But the future is beyond anyone's grasp. It is shaped by countless factors, most of which are not within a person's influence. To worry endlessly about it is to fight against shadows. The wise do not waste energy trying to predict or control what has not yet arrived. Instead, they focus on the present, knowing that the best way to prepare for the future is to make the most of today. The present moment is the only time where life truly happens. It is the only space where action can be taken, where choices can be made, where change can occur. Those who live in the past or future miss this truth. They move through life absent, distracted, always somewhere else in their minds. But those who master the ability to stay present find clarity. They see things as they are, not as they were or as they fear they might be. They act with purpose, make decisions based on reality, and experience life fully instead of letting it pass unnoticed. To live in the present is to free oneself from unnecessary suffering. The past holds no power over those who refuse to dwell on it. The future holds no fear for those who trust themselves to handle whatever comes. Each moment is met with attention, appreciation, and awareness. A mind trained to stay in the present is a mind that is steady, unshaken by regret, untouched by fear. It moves through life with a quiet strength, embracing each day as it comes, knowing that nothing else truly exists. The mind, like the body, requires training. Strength does not appear overnight, nor does resilience develop by chance. Just as a warrior sharpens his sword and a craftsman refines his skill, a person must shape and discipline their mind through daily practice. Without training, the mind is weak, easily distracted, ruled by emotion, and swayed by external events. But with discipline, it becomes sharp, focused, and unshakable, capable of facing any challenge with clarity and resolve. The difference between those who crumble under adversity and those who rise above it is not luck or circumstance, it is preparation. The mind must be forged like iron, strengthened through habit, tested through struggle, and refined through self-control. Discipline begins with small, consistent actions. A mind that is constantly entertained, indulged, and comforted will never develop the strength to endure hardship. Just as a body weakens without exercise, a mind that is never challenged becomes fragile. A person who avoids discomfort, who gives in to every impulse, who seeks pleasure over growth, will find themselves unable to withstand even the smallest difficulties. But one who trains their mind daily, who practices patience, self-restraint, and focus, builds a foundation of inner strength that cannot be easily broken. Self-control is the first lesson in mental discipline. The ability to say no to distractions, to resist unhealthy desires, to act with intention rather than impulse. These are the marks of a strong mind. Many live at the mercy of their emotions and cravings, allowing them to dictate their actions. They react rather than respond. They indulge rather than restrain. But true freedom comes from mastery over the self. The disciplined mind does not seek constant pleasure, nor does it avoid hardship. It remains steady, choosing action over excuse, effort over comfort, growth over stagnation. Reflection is another key practice. A person who does not examine their own thoughts and actions will remain blind to their weaknesses. Each day offers an opportunity to improve, to learn, to refine the way one thinks and behaves. Without reflection, mistakes are repeated, emotions remain unchecked, and progress is slow. The disciplined mind takes time to observe itself, to recognize faults without self-pity, to correct mistakes without excuse. It does not waste energy on regret or blame, but instead focuses on what can be changed and improved. Gratitude and perspective are also part of mental discipline. A weak mind sees only what it lacks, always wanting more, always dissatisfied. A strong mind learns to appreciate what is, to find value in the present, to recognize that true strength comes not from having more, but from needing less. A person who trains themselves to see life through a lens of appreciation rather than expectation will not be easily shaken by misfortune. They will endure hardship with grace, knowing that even struggle has its lessons. Training the mind is not a one-time effort, but a lifelong practice. Each day presents a choice, to grow stronger or to remain stagnant, to face challenges with discipline or to avoid them with excuses. The untrained mind is easily broken, but the trained mind is prepared for anything. It does not waver in the face of difficulty, nor does it seek escape when things become difficult. It moves forward with purpose, steady and unshaken, knowing that true strength is not given, it is built, day by day through discipline.